but for me, like what you're saying about obviously Gomez, he has kind of those mistakes that he makes where he gets caught out and stuff. I feel like I said, where he has the pace to make it up. And you were saying his turning circles bad, but he got recorded the second fastest player, and you know what I mean.
On a sprint race, I agree. I'm not talking about his pace. It's like Salah's got pace, right?
The thing is, I don't know. The only thing for me, that Phillips can do is head the ball. Like sometimes he needs to chest it, sometimes he needs to pass it, sometimes he needs to. He literally just throws his head at it every single time it's in the air. And I get what you're saying. That's important. It is important in a lot of games for us this season. It's been important, like against Burnley. I think there was another game, West Ham, where it was important that
West Brom as well.
He was man of the match against West Ham.
So it's important for him to do that in a lot of games because we struggle with that, especially
I think in some games he will be perfect. But it will be only some games against the Burnleys and the long balls. The long ball team. He will be handy to have run.
Yeah, but we say, Bruno,
he's not going.
But we're saying that he's played. How many games has he played this season? He's probably at Premier League games. He's probably played games, 20, 25 games, whatever the number is. When you say he's good for us in certain games, that's the bit I don't get. I mean, he's been reliable throughout. In every game, he's been reliable. I'm not saying he's our first choice. I'm not saying he's our third choice. I'm saying as a fourth choice centre back.
Yes, I don't know.
I'd rather fourth choice will come in when we play the cup games, maybe, or maybe some games in the Champions League where I think the result is not important or something like that.
I think even guys,
don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if a Burnley comes in with a 30 million bid and we sell him.
No, Jason, I think I don't
seriously.
I think honestly, he fourth choice. I think we signed Konate obviously today. I think I would rather say thank you, Phillips, thank you for what you've done. You know what I mean? It was above and beyond. It was above and beyond.
Thank you. You'll never walk alone.
I'll be back.
So off you go and carry us. Carry us.
Who would you have as full centre back then?
So I think now that so it's Virgil, obviously Virgil at the top, and then I think now that Konate is here, he's super talented. But I think him and Joe Gomez will fight for that second.
So who's second spot?
So I think probably Matip, and I get what you're saying with the injury prone. Can we count him?
And his salary.
I think he's like 4 times the player Phillips is, even with the injuries.
But remember as well, Matip was free. We signed him on a free transfer. And I think
at times,
well.
Matip is. He doesn't really put a foot.
I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying if you've got a full choice centre back, that when you need him might be injured, and you're paying over $100,000. That to me doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you've got someone like Phillips, who is there, who's absolutely, he's done an incredible job this season. Whether his talent is the level of the first centre back, we agree it's not.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a no-brainer.
I wouldn't get rid of him. I would definitely keep him. If we're gonna say that Matip doesn't count, I guess, as a 4 spot because he's never fit, then Phillips would obviously go into that spot. But I think Reece Williams goes and Phillips stays. I think
we've given Phillips his airtime. I love him, but the other players we picked,
like Origi is a cult hero, you know what I mean? But I think I still want him gone.
So another player of the season was Thiago. Yeah,
I picked Thiago simply because he's probably the most improved player. I mean, obviously, very unlucky for him to go injured badly. And then he came back, and then he was played out of position. But when he was played in his position, we all saw what he is capable of. We all saw the real Thiago.
You saw why I wanted to leave my wife, right? You saw. Now you know.
So the divorce papers are on their way.
I went to the solicitor today, mate. We're drafting him.
You're going to take his name?
Of course.
Yeah, all us nowadays.
No. Yeah, I mean, I loved him when we signed him.
So
I thought,
and we will see. We will see next season. I think we will.
When he's playing in a role he's got bought for, he has played exceptional because that's what he got bought.
I think what Yaz said is good. That I think he'll be the go-to guy next year, the midfield, like the first one with Henderson. And I think Henderson, Fabinho, and him. That's the midfield.
Yeah.
Next season.
Yeah.
Well, I'm salivating.
I know they're looking to sign that that Turkish guy from AC Milan and all that stuff. So yeah, I think we're gonna be all right. Yeah. Who are the other players of the season? We've gone Phillips, Salah.
That was it.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Andy, who did you say again?
I said Phillips. Just a quick one on that. I think Salah's brilliant. I'm listening to what the boys said, and Salah's been brilliant. But the reason why, personally, I think it has to go to Phillips. Salah, we know how good Salah is. We know that for the last 3 seasons he's been delivering those numbers. So I don't think he's done anything out of the ordinary. That doesn't mean to say he hasn't had a brilliant season individually. Although I do think as a 3, and he's part of that 3, they've struggled and it hasn't been cohesive. And possibly he's part of that problem this season. But Phillips, I think what Jayden's been saying emphasises why he has to be our player of the season, because if we'd have mentioned him before anyone kicked a ball this season, we wouldn't have had him anywhere near. We didn't even know what he was like. No one's ever seen him play. Then we saw him play, and for the first 2 or 3 games, I was sitting there going, this guy's terrible. He can't play for us. I was saying that. And then to deliver what he delivered in the back end of the season, he's the player of the season, boys, for me. But that's why. And I don't think he'll play a game next season. If he does, it will be because we've had 4 centre-back injuries. And that's not me being harsh on him, but we've just signed a top centre-half. We've got 3 top centre-halves at the club. If they all stay fit, Phillips doesn't play a minute. He probably doesn't even get on the bench. I think he probably leaves, but he leaves with loads of gratitude from me, because I think he's been, for what he's capable of, I think he's massively overachieved. He's led that.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, giving it on that alone, like I said, the servitude, it's been like more than we could have wished for someone of that level. And for that, I'll commend him. I'll never forget him for what he done, but I don't want to see him play again. I can't lie.
I think he's given it more than what he was capable of. He's probably surprised himself that he can play at that level.
Yeah, he will never forget this season.
No, he's
this
like
year of
I
his
said,
life.
look, Phillips has earned his place in the club's history, if you like.
Yeah.
We'll look back on this season, and the season will be remembered for the wrong reasons, in a lot of ways. But there'll be a few things that people will remember. One will be Phillips and how he came to the rescue, if you like, in the end of the season.
Alisson scoring that goal.
And I was going to get to the next bit, the moment of the season. I mean, wow. That for me was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a moment. And then the interview afterwards, and just everything around that moment.
I had goosebumps when he was doing his interview, talking about
can you imagine Chelsea and Leicester watching that? They must have said, well, we know Liverpool are going to, it's between us now. We've got to fight now, isn't it? Because one of us is missing out. They knew from that moment we were going to get in that top 4. Because it's only Liverpool that creates moments like this. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of great clubs.
He's a sick keeper to score in the Prem.
Yeah, I know. But he's the first keeper to score in the last minute, a winner.
Yeah.
Of that
that's
quality.
What I'm saying is only 6 keepers have ever scored, and for him to do it in that kind of moment.
Yeah, it was.
It was just everything. It was like 95th minute.
Yeah.
Our season is on the line there. That's it. If that does not go in, if that doesn't go in, it's over. It's over.
What a finish as well.
And it was the quality. It wasn't just like a header, deflected, lucky. he meant that shit. That was meant to go where he put it, you know?
I've never seen a head like that in ages. It was a finish.
I'm just worried, Jay. I'm just worried that next season Klopp might be tempted to play him up front.
Well, yes.
He might do. Some people that would be
might do.
You know, he goes, sometimes Klopp goes mad and he does things that no one understands.
But
that would be
you see, I think what goes under the radar is this. There was moments in the season, Alisson made some mistakes this year as well, right? But Goldie's made mistakes.
Yeah.
But I tell you something, there was some moments where he kept us in games. You know, against West Brom, he made a couple of good saves when it was 1-1.
Yeah.
You know, that Robson Kanu was through. He made himself really big. And in other games as well, he made some good saves, man.
Right?
Yeah, as Roy Keane says. That's his job.
That is his job. He would, but Alisson will be the first to say that by his standards, he's been another player whose form has dipped this season.
I was just going to say, Kush, as well, that I don't think he's been anywhere near good enough this season.
Yeah.
And look, there's for it, the defence for a start, that's huge. But But he's miles better than what he's done this season.
Yeah. We know that. We know that.
It's not just his. We see his distribution has been a little bit off this season, infamously with those 2 goals he conceded in that match. But also there's a couple I remember where he the ball went in the middle of the goal and he didn't He the ball went under his arm in the middle of the goal. So he's shot stopping by his standards. Yes, he has saved us in matches, but his shot stopping also by his standard has been well below par.
Yeah.
And Jay, that moment against West Brom, obviously incredible moment. But I think what emphasised it even more is we were playing West Brom, knowing that we need to win this game and then win our last 2, so it's in our hands. And we were shit that day.
100%.
We were shit. Let's make no mistake. We had a lot of half, but it was all this fluffy stuff and we weren't penetrating. And I was sitting there. And when we equalised, and then you're sitting there watching it, we're going to get another goal, right? We're going to win this. We're going to get there.
Yeah,
and then 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and I'm sitting there going, 82, 83 minutes, I'm sitting there going, we're not going to win this game. We're not winning this game. You know, it gets to that point where you start really doubting it. And it was 92 minutes, and I was sitting there going, I feel sick. We've actually blown it. This is it. This is us.
I mentally checked out.
But that moment was emphasised massively by that as well, right?
Yeah. No, look. But you see, what I would say about Alisson and the forward line, which we've talked about not being up to scratch, Alisson has been playing the last 2 seasons with Van Dijk in front of him. That makes a difference. And the front players have been playing with the knowledge that Van Dijk is behind them. I don't think we can quantify exactly how much we've missed that guy this year. The calmness he brings to the team. Yes, he was
our captain as well.
Yeah, look, yes, he was present when we lost 7-2 to Villa. He was in that team. But that was a one-off game. And 5 of their goals were deflections, massive deflections. And Adrian was in goal as well.
They could have scored more than the 7.
Yeah, they could have scored more, but then we could have scored more as well that night.
No. That day.
Yeah. No, we didn't deserve to win. We didn't deserve to win the game. I'm not saying we deserve to win. We deserve to lose.
We deserve what we got.
We deserve to get battered.
We deserve to lose. I'm not saying we didn't, but that was a one-off. That was a one-off game. That happens sometimes.
It was the universe aligned.
Yeah.
7-2.
Yeah.
Jay, I have to disagree with that comment you just made. That doesn't happen.
What? What doesn't happen?
That doesn't happen. When was the last time?
It shouldn't happen, but it can happen to any team.
I don't think it. I don't agree with that. I don't think that can happen to Liverpool Football Club against anyone. There was no. To me, that was the most shameful game I've seen in decades. It was, and Chris is spot on. They could have scored 12-13 that day. I remember sitting there going, wow, this is incredible. They gave up.
Literally every time they had an attack, you thought they were going to score.
They gave up. Even Van Dijk, they gave up. It was like they were just like, fuck it, let's lose 10-0. And I was sitting there going, this is fucking embarrassing, man.
No, listen, I was as disappointed as anyone else when I watched that game. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was laughing watching that game. I was thinking, my God, this is just a joke. But I'm going to say it. Adrian was in goal. Okay? The person we want as our number 6 goalkeeper. And although I don't blame him for all the goals, there was a lot of deflect. Listen, we didn't deserve any. We got what we deserved that night. I know. I'm not trying to give any excuses for the team. But for me, one of the worst performances I've seen from a Liverpool team was last season against Watford away. That 3-0. That was
I
shocking.
saw that live, I went to see that, and that was the only game we fucking lost.
Don't go to any more games then, all right?
That was terrible.
Oh man,
I'm not giving you my season to get tall next year. No chance, my friend. No chance.
It was flipping. I was shell shocked. You know the definition of shell shocked. I'm standing I'm in the stands. I'm in the Watford stands because I got that's how I got the ticket as well. And I'm standing there like, what's happening? Like Sarr looked like Neymar.
Yeah, we were just terrible that day.
But do you know, Jayden? I said on this when I first came on this thing, this call. We were talking about our season, and I said, don't look at the where this all started was that Watford game, where this all our performances. So. In other words, we shouldn't have been that surprised the way we were playing this season.
It was like a continuation.
It was a continuation. And again, what happened is, as Liverpool fans, we were saying, or people, not me, people were saying, when we lost against Watford, when we got battered against City, when we were we drew against Burnley, and we scraped past a couple of other games, people were saying, we've taken our foot off the gas. And I was like, because by that stage, we had essentially won the league. I was like, hold on a minute, that's fine, but and again, this season, I think we've made a lot of excuses for our performances. We've said injuries, no fans, Van Dijk, whatever. I think we've got to be a bit realistic and actually, because otherwise we're never gonna. We're gonna think. Next season we're gonna get into next season, and we're gonna be flying next season. Yeah. And it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I agree. I would say it wasn't new. Like you said, at the end of last season, I think it was the build up to the whole first time in 30 years. It was the whole unbeaten. It was so much pressure. Then it was, don't forget, the pandemic, the COVID. That's where it started, and it was like there was talk of Liverpool are not going to get the title. It's going to be off. And I think even though we don't see it because they hide it well, it does affect the players. I mean, it affects the fans. I was like losing sleep over it, thinking, can this actually happen? Think about what the players...
I was convinced we were actually going to lose the
So I think the performances were anemic. The performances are just I would classify them as turgid. Yeah, and we've had so many turgid performances this season. And Andy was saying that West Brom game, the one that was a turgid performance. Yeah. It was just synonymous.
There's so many factors coupled with that. I think the fact that when it finally came, I think when you got all this pressure build up in your life and everything, and then you can get a release, and it's just like they like you said, took the foot off the gas, coupled with bad performances and players, the mentality just wasn't there. It was like watching. I mean, we all watched it. It was like watching two different teams. It was like we saw a team at the start and a team at the end, and then when the season restarted, it looked like the same team that ended the last season. And I was like, hold on here. We're losing the ball. We're getting bopped by little teams, and like teams are kind of like looking at each other like, let's go at them now. And we didn't have the same, when you walked on the pitch. I watched every game the season before thinking, we're winning this game. We're winning this game. How many? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Like, I didn't have any doubt. But this season at the start and last season, every single team looked like they could beat us at any point of time. It was like a flashback to Brendan Rodgers' era. It was like, Brendan Rodgers' side where it was like a scrape for the title. It was like, hold on, we're scoring 2, then they're just scoring straight away. Then it's 2-2, then they're winning 3-2, and then it's like, hold on, what's going on here? We used to come out and dominate games and make teams look like Sunday league teams, and then all of a sudden, this shit.
I think there is a lot of reasons why we've dropped off. There is a lot of why.
I think that's
it's
not
excuses.
Yeah, reasons, not excuses.
To get to the top, the intensity, the games they played, the amount of games specific players have played over 2-3 years, it's a lot and at a high level. And
physically and emotionally,
I think we've said it as well. A few of us have said it here. It is time to refresh that team now, to change it. And I think they will. Wijnaldum going is the first step. They brought in a defender, which
change
they should have
put. Though, do you think?
Well, I don't think wholesale, but I think they need to add. They need to get rid of the players we've all talked about: Shaqiri, Origi, Harry Wilson. That guy's never going to play for Liverpool. Just let him go. A few others of those peripheral players, maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain, maybe, I don't know. Maybe a Matip might go.
Get rid of Keita. Yeah?
Keita might go. So there's some players that are going to go, definitely, yeah? And from the players that go, they need to add in some real quality. So we'll do a show next week on transfers, but there's a few players that they're looking at which would add a bit of quality to us. Because this way, the squad will then be refreshed. I think they will sign a striker.
Did you read the Athletic piece from James Pearce today?
The one that I asked for the chat. Yeah, I read it. Yeah.
So when I read that piece, I have to say, I mean, if James Pearce is correct, I mean, I've got no reason to say. I mean, he's obviously close to it.
It's Pearce and Reddy, the two that are close.
Yeah. And Melissa Reddy obviously very close to Liverpool. Obviously James Pearce. But if James Pearce is believed to be correct, to me, and it's just me saying it, this is why I asked the question on the last thing. Do you expect us to kind of do stuff that's going to make it? Are you going to feel enthused going into next season? And if James Pearce is to be believed, I don't feel particularly enthused.
As in the transfers.
As in, like, so for example, I start right from the back. I look at the fullbacks and I say the fullback covers that we've got, keep saying it, are not good enough. So you're going to find a situation where if Trent is off form, like he was this season, he can't be taken out of the team. If Robertson is off form, he can't be taken out of the team because Klopp does not trust Costas and Nico. Nico Williams is nowhere near good enough. We talk about Phillips. Nico Williams is nowhere near good enough.
I think he's all right,
No,
I don't think he's. I think when he's played, he's actually
he's nowhere
done
near
what's
good
required.
Enough. Oh, really? Yeah, but okay, so in the same way as Phillips, right? But I don't think he's anywhere near good enough as a replacement if you want to take Trent out of the team.
Yeah.
So if you look at the fullbacks are staying. If you look at the midfield, there's a chance that the midfield, they won't do anything with the midfield because Jones is going to come in, and it looks like
hopefully not. Yeah,
and it looks like the front four. All things being equal, they're not planning to offload one of those guys. So what I'm saying is, I don't think there's going to be that much difference to the team that we've actually got at the moment. Konate's coming in, and that's obviously great, but I don't see there being a fundamental change.
Yeah, see, I think that we're kind of hard on ourselves because of the recent success, and obviously this season. One, I think we've got to say that finishing here with what's happened is a successful season, as it is. With you can only do the job with the tools that you got. And I think what we finishing third above, people are saying Tuchel had a crazy impact and he was like changing the game with Chelsea. We finished above them with all these players missing, with how crap we played, we finished above them. But now, so that's out of the way. We can, when those players come back, we are going to go up. I mean, we went down, let's say 5 levels. We're going to go up 5 levels. Even that said, I still do believe we do need fresh legs and we need players to replace. But
we will definitely get fresh legs. Definitely, 100%.
With Chimikas on left back, the only thing is I'm not going to say that he's not good enough. Well, he's not good enough, obviously, because he's not playing. But I'm not going to say we need someone else. I think Klopp said that his position is similar to Robertson when he came. He's saying that obviously he got COVID, then he had an ankle injury. I mean, everyone could. I don't know what was in the water, but everyone was dropping in Liverpool. So like Ben Davies would even see the guy because he was injured the whole time. Can you imagine that?
The squad depth. The squad depth. I think when you just look at it,
is it good enough? No, definitely not.
Our squad depth is, of course not. And it looks like to me, I don't think it's going to fundamentally change. I think that's what it looks like. If James Pearce is to be believed.
But he said basically to the same old Liverpool story. For there to be incomings, there's got to be outgoings. If no one comes and picks up our deadwood, then you're right. I'm going to be worried because I think Origi, he cannot. I mean, he's got 1 goal in 16 appearances for us. He cannot stay. Shaqiri needs to go. Like Harry Wilson needs to go. We got Ben Woodburn on our books still. Can you believe that? Like he needs to go.
Listen, those players will go. Liverpool will get rid of them. Whether they get a lot of money for them is another matter. But they will go.
We're shopping. I do think we're going to shop.
I think we will too. I really believe that. I think FSG understand that if they want success again for the club, they're going to have to spend some money.
And you know what about that Pearce? Sorry, go on, Jason.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that I think. Go on. You say
no, go on.
Okay, right. So I think we will definitely sign some players. I think 5 or 6 players will leave. We've named most of them, and the money that we get from them will go to. And I think there'll be some astute signings as well. Like that guy from Milan, he's a free transfer. And he's like a £50 million rated midfielder.
I don't think it's good enough for us, though. But yeah, I know you're saying.
Yeah, but so there'll be some astute signings as well, and I think they will make some signings. And I'm pretty sure there will be a striker that will come into there that will offer a different kind of strategy for the front four.
I think
because I think they're looking at that Dako guy.
Patson Daka from Salzburg.
Patson Daka. They're looking at him. They're looking at that guy from Villarreal, Chawanakwi or whatever his name is.
The tall striker.
Yeah. They're looking at him, and we've got a guy that's out on loan who's tearing it up. Apparently, that Awoyi.
Taiwo,
yeah. He's supposed to be quite good.
But
he might be sold.
On what Kush was saying, about the James Pearce thing, I think they're doing it on purpose. I think, honestly, they're doing the whole smoke and mirrors. Because of what happened with Virgil, they've all learned that if you have in-the-know sources, if you leak anything, we're going to burn you. Like, we're going to burn your source, because what happened with Virgil was not on in any shape or form. So Melissa and James, remember how they are very, very close. They've got in sources.
But I agree with that. But it's not. But one thing you have to remember is the players who we're thinking of getting rid of, or we're going to get rid of. It's not like our top assets that are going to get sort of 80 to 100 million. You're talking maybe the difference between a few million, 5. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
no, I think we could get a good 50 for everyone.
Yeah, that's
50, 60.
Listen, Kush. We got 25 million for Brewster.
We got 20 million for Solanke. We got 15 million for Jordan Ibe.
Yeah.
Come on, we can do it, man.
We've been good we've been amazing at flogging players. I honestly think
it's different time now with COVID. But I mean, definitely. What I'm saying is, I believe the fact that the reason they said that these players, we're going to keep Ox, we're going to keep these players, is because they want to keep the transfer value. But I do believe that for the other players that you just mentioned, the real. The Woodburn, the Gruchiks, all these kind of characters. It's purely. I don't think by saying they're on the shopping list, all of a sudden, we're going to be we were going to get 50, but now we're going to get 20.
But let's
not
say
in that bracket.
Yeah, I think what it is I think he's lying. Not lying. Sorry, he's being cold about things they've got lined up, like Konate. He's just, you know what I mean. You heard about him. He's a Liverpool player. I think we're more like Fabinho. Fabinho, I woke up and Konate. I mean, Fabinho was a player. You know what I mean. I think we are doing more silent business, and I think you were saying about that they're not going to commit. They're not going to garner a lot of money. I think 50, 60 mil is the lower end of the bracket.
I think my point is one or two players. I think it's going to. Looking at our squad, I don't think we're going to get the squad this transfer window by the looks of it. I think it's going to take a couple of transfer windows to build that squad up. Because I don't think our squad is anywhere near good enough.
We have to rival. When you say squad, you mean like a squad to rival cities, basically?
No, I'm saying a squad. I'm saying a squad that I think is good enough.
Right, so look, let's hold this conversation for next week because we're gonna have a transfer show, a couple of them. We'll do one a week. Latest rumours, what do you think? All that kind of stuff, yeah? Just to keep us 64 subscribers happy because they're missing us. They're missing us.
I'm
gonna get roasted for that Phillips stuff, aren't I?
Yeah.
Hate mail.
No, you right.
Mate, we already know your view. We've already had that banter with that Trent, so we knew it was coming.
Oh, it was you that was talking about Trent.
Andy, what did you want to say? You were going to say something there.
Yeah, I was just going to say not so much about transfers, but just a brief one on transfers. But I've been listening, and it's interesting. I don't think we'll ever have a squad. We're never going to have a squad to rival cities. I think we need to accept that.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. Not under this ownership, this model. And I don't think Klopp wants that either. He's always talks about having a tight squad with quality rather than loads of players. And our success in the last 3 or 4 years, we haven't had 2 top left backs. We haven't had 2 top right backs. A lot of our players have played most of the games, right? And they haven't been injured. So the injuries have now shown us in a different light because we haven't had that squad. But I think to add to why I think we're going to challenge next season, and I really am confident that we will, is you mentioned the start of that whole conversation about transfers, you mentioned Virgil in front of Alisson. And it's not just Virgil. Make no mistake, Jordan Henderson played 17 games this season, right? Now, for anyone that thinks that Jordan Henderson doesn't influence the team as much as Virgil van Dijk, I think you need to just have a watch of the last 2 or 3 seasons. And the reason I say that is because look how bad some of our key players have been this season. Robertson, Trent, the front 3 hasn't been good enough individually, collectively. How many times this season have you seen another player shout when someone's done something poor? And I think back to last year, and all I think of is when someone does something wrong or doesn't do something well enough, Henderson and Virgil were the 2 that shout at them, man. They raise the standards of everyone else. Yep. So although Virgil, as a talent, is the best centre-back in the world, Jordan Henderson is not the best centre midfielder in the world. Leadership and the impact it has on the team, they're as good as each other for that team. So them 2 coming in, for me personally, changes it significantly. And obviously having Fabinho in the middle, we've seen the impact of that. And with Henderson next to him. So I'm really optimistic for next season. I'd like to see 2 or 3 signings. Yeah. I just have no idea what's going to happen. We've signed Konate. We knew that was coming. They've been talking about that since March. I don't know what else is happening. I'm hearing all these different rumours. I think a load of it is bollocks. I think we do need to sell players, deadwood. But even if we do, I'm not sure we're going to go and splash out silly money. I'm not expecting it, but I'd like it. But yeah.
You've never needed to.
Not after the pandemic. Not when the money is tight and old clubs are suffering. I mean, you saw the headlines. Billions of pounds have been lost by all the big clubs and whatever. So the era of Liverpool splashing 60, 70 million pounds on players is over. I don't think.
Well, I think we will sign a big player this summer. I really do. I'm convinced. I'm convinced we're going to do it.
Mbappe.
I don't know about Mbappe. I don't know. Look, listen, I would love to see Mbappe.
The last one I heard, the last one I heard, which was a left field rumor, was Griezmann. I heard Griezmann. No, I'm not saying it's, but it's one of the rumors I heard.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
Was Griezmann.
I hope
well, the player I want at Liverpool, there's one player. If I could have him now, if we're playing Football Manager, a little plug there, Jaden. If we're playing Football Manager, I'm signing Son. That's who I'm signing.
We've had this discussion. You're still on that. You're still on that cloud, mate. I'll take Harry Kane over Son any day of the week.
Yeah, you did ask me what was I smoking, but that's a lifetime ago, my friend. That's a different life now. Not now. Yeah. Not now. I can't now.
Yeah.
Jay.
All right.
On Harry Kane, Son. If Son didn't play a game next season, if they're still there at Spurs and Son doesn't play a game next season, Harry Kane will still score 20, 25 goals. If Harry Kane leaves, Son won't even get
100%. Like Harry Kane every day of the week.
Okay, well, look, we have different opinions, and that's fine. That's what makes the world a beautiful place.
No, I'm right.
But listen, let me tell you something. Son fits the way we play.
Yeah, I thought he was wrapping it up.
We are wrapping it up. All right.
So you have to have the last word.
No. Kush, all right. Bruno, anything else for you? Because we're going to wrap up now.
Mate. I mean, listen, for me, the last word for me is I am extremely happy that we've finished third. That's all that counts. That is incredible.
Yeah.
A month ago, I never thought in a million years we would actually make the Champions League. The fact that we made the Champions League and we're third is a testament to anything you want. For me, I'm happy. That's it.
I'm happy too. Good season. In the end, we salvaged it.
26 points out of 30 points available. We did that.
Forget everything. COVID, goalie injuries. We finished
there. On to the next season.
We're playing Champions League. That's all there is to it.
We'll be challenging.
That's it.
Yeah.
All the way.
All right, guys. So,
all right, guys.
See you later.